Hey. Found it. What is up, bodyweight warriors, and welcome back to another video. And today we're going to be continuing on from the injury vlog, probably now a couple of months ago, which was to do with the adductor strain that I had doing this. So yeah, not the smartest of idea, definitely not the best of outcomes, but ultimately I kind of laid out some things in that video that talked about how to recover from injuries. It was pretty generic, and I kind of talked through what I was going to be doing. One thing I didn't actually mention is red light. This thing. So I'm not a massive fan of like gimmicky sort of things, or even, to be honest, anything like topical massage related when it comes to injuries. The evidence just isn't there. I kind of covered this in probably one of the most recent videos on the channel, which we kind of went and looked at. Does the evidence support foam rolling for various different things? And generally the answer was no. But I recommend watching that video. It was kind of a fun one to go through. This kind of reflects my own experience with injuries in general. I found that, you know, putting creams, doing massage stuff, all of these other things outside of just recovering actually don't seem to make a difference. They're more of like a placebo effect. It feels, because you're doing something, it feels like that thing is getting better, whereas it would have just got better on its own anyway. By far the most beneficial thing, as we talked about in that original injury vlog, is strength training. That's the best thing when it comes to recovering from injury. That's kind of what the evidence supports. But red light therapy does seem to be one of those things that is a little bit of an exception to the rule. Now, there is a pilot study, which I think I've linked to in another video, which looked at the effects of red light therapy and reducing the return to play time for injured athletes. And there was actually almost a 50% decrease in that time it took for them to get back to play using red light therapy. Now, this was just a pilot study, there's more research needed, but it's kind of an interesting one. You saw me use it on my shoulder there. That's because I've got a little niggle at the moment from where I had a subluxation dislocation back in November, and you couldn't see me use it on the adductor because I had to be naked for that one. So not really safe for YouTube. But either way, I've seen some good benefits from that, and using it for some other health benefits sort of on a daily basis if I'm not out in actual sunlight anyway. That was a very long-winded explanation at the start of this video, but something that I thought was potentially kind of useful. Oh, and the other point I forgot to mention is kind of eating a lot. That's why I've got this. Just generally for like injury rehab, I like to have a calorie surplus. You know, you want to be intaking a fair amount of calories to support the recovery. But also, I think this is more of like a bigger point in general. The kind of want to be lean or remain lean can sometimes lead to under eating and then therefore under recovery, which can actually put you at more risk of developing injuries in the long term. It's good to kind of generally have periods where you have some weight gain, some excess fat, and then some periods of leanness, much like you'd have in a traditional sports session when you have in season and off season. It's good to kind of naturally give yourself that over the year and over your training. So today's meal, we've got a few homemade beef burgers, some scrambled egg, some parmesan, and some sauerkraut. I've been really feeling like the mustard beef pickle combination at the moment. I don't know what it is, it just hits the spot. Some mussels as well. Mussels, fantastic source of some good micronutrients, and they're pretty cheap. Right, so all of that other stuff is nice, but the main thing that's going to give you the most dividends when it comes to injury recovery is getting your training right. So obviously last time we picked up, I was basically just doing some isometrics, and that was kind of my basic recommendations for people with injuries and stuff, and that's essentially been my training. But now things are at the point in which I haven't got pain in general movements, and it's more about now making sure the area is solid, integrating it with everything else, and restoring that range of motion, which is the main thing to talk about. The reason I say about restoring range of motion is that usually when people get injured, almost their first tendency is like, oh, injured shoulder, let's stretch it out, let's move it around. Whereas actually, it's not the best thing to do. Really, this probably should be a whole video topic by itself, but
general rule of thumb, you don't want to overstretch injuries. It's just not the way to get better. You can provide some mobility focus, but it needs to be done in a strength-oriented way. Ultimately, start with some isometrics, then maybe you do those isometrics at a larger range of motion, and then we can start incorporating movements and then thinking about restoring full range of motion and full function. That's a later thing, shouldn't be our first focus. So as I injured the adductor, strained it in the middle splits, I've kind of just backed off any sort of middle split work. The last few weeks, seeing as the injuries felt a little bit better, I've been feeling out where exactly I can go to and like what feels comfortable. So, you know, for example, like I'm cold at the moment and, you know, I haven't even done a middle split today, but I can now feel that sensation of where that injury is. I can feel it starting to come into place. Doesn't really make sense for me to start pushing this position, but what can be useful is for me to start thinking about trying to apply some isometrics here. So I'm going to actively try to press my feet down into the ground. I'm going to try and contract that muscle, so the isometrics that we've talked about beforehand, but I'm just doing it more towards the end of the range of motion that I have accessible to me. So that's kind of the main difference from where I left off on the last video about what's changed. Apart from that, everything up until the last week has stayed the same. I've just been doing the isometrics in the Nordic curl position, and then some isometrics on maybe like 4 or 5 times a week in usually a seated middle split, and just trying to contract that area. But now things are feeling a little bit better, kind of moving on to the next stage of from isometrics to slow, more loaded movements through, again, developing the full range of motion that the injury is capable of doing. So beforehand, standard isometrics. So I'm just going to do band assisted negatives like I was doing before, but using a pretty heavy band. Definitely don't want to be anywhere stressing myself, don't want to load too quickly, don't want to jump back into things too intensely. So if this feels easy, that's fine, and I'll build things up over the coming 4-6 weeks. See how it feels. Now the tendency when you get to this point in an injury rehab is, oh, it's feeling better. It means I can start training again, which is true, you can. But when it starts feeling better, it may feel maybe 100%, but in reality it's probably going to be close to like 70 to 80% recovered. So most people jump back in, they do too much too soon, they re-injure. Part of the rehab process is about building up capacity again. So that muscle has been injured, it's been torn for whatever reason it is, you need to build it back up so it's strong again, it can be capable of doing the training you want to do. So maybe I could easily do 5 or 6 sets of this, but that's potentially a bit too much for the first session back of this intensity of work. So at the moment, my plan is to do 3 to 5 sets of 3 to 5 reps, so that really slow negative. So today's going to be probably 3 by 4, 12 reps in total. Next week, I'm probably going to add a set. So maybe we do 4, 4, 4, 3, 15 reps total. Week after, add another set, and then probably go back, try to do more reps or more sets, etc. So it's more of a progressive building it back up over the next couple of months, as opposed to going from 0 to 100, because that's how injuries happen. More of the same really, strengthening through a further range of motion. This one, City Good Morning, if you haven't seen it before, fantastic drill for pancake. More so for beginners with pancake, because it really isolates that hip rotation. But for me, where I injured myself with the middle splits was that element, pushing the hips back and sinking down into it. So it's a real high groin injury. And this, although predominantly a lower back exercise, done in this position, is still going to have some effect on the adductors, but it's safe. You know, I'm only lowering down as far as I can do, so I've got the like a point of contact, so I know that I'm not going to go too far. I don't have that. I'm not standing, so I'm not having to stabilize my body in space. A little bit bent legged, so it's like kind of a nice, safe, supported drill, and then I can equally, you know, progress the range of motion on this if I want to. Something like 15 kilos at the moment, it's not very heavy. Really, I should be doing this with like 50, 60 kilos on my back for reps. The rest of the non-injury related stuff is basically just the same, you know. It's not affected, carry on as normal. So I think that kind of wraps it up for today's video. In general, don't stretch injuries, it's not worth it, it's not the best thing for it. Rest it, do some strength training, go back to the first video, kind of outlined a rough guidance, or even better yet, go see a physio, go get an individual assessment. Injuries need to be treated on an individual basis. All in all, I'm pretty happy of how this injury is recovering. As I said, I don't have any pain as such. I can feel where the injury was. Hopefully, I'll be able to gain some decent range back over the next 6 to 8 weeks, because now this is the portion where I'm like pain-free movement. Let's start seeing if I can gain back range, do a little bit of stretching, but the stretching is still strength focused. But as always, if you have any questions or if you just want to join the conversation, let me know your thoughts on stuff we chatted about today. Leave a comment in the comment section down below. I'd love to hear your thoughts on this one. As always, you can hit that thumbs up button and support the channel. Right next to it is that subscribe button if you want to join the Bodyweight Warrior Tribe. Don't miss out on any more future videos. But that's basically it for this week, guys. Catch you in the next one. Have a strong week. Peace.